Good evening and Merry Christmas from Spot On Weather. This is the long range forecast, and this is just created on 25 December. So let's get right to it. A lot of interesting things to talk about in the long range forecast for Southeast Virginia. First, we're going to start off with Thursday, 29 December 2016. And at this point on Thursday, the 29th of December 2016, what's interesting is we have a Arctic front to start this time long range period, an Arctic front to the northwest of Southeast Virginia, as indicated by these lower thickness values, these blue dashed lines. The 540 decameter line is typically your rain snow line east of the Mississippi River. The 534 decameter, the 528, 522, very cold air. A very strong cold front will be knocking on Southeast Virginia's door and passing through the area on Thursday evening. And that will be our first shot of a couple different shots of Arctic air that are going to make an attempt to advance into the area. Looking at your polar front jet axis on the 29th of December, orientation from Western Canada into the Midwestern United States and into the Mid-Atlantic region. Upper level low to the north, cold air will pour in on northwesterly flow into the base of this long wave trough on the 29th, which supports this Arctic cold front, which will be passing through Southeast Virginia on Thursday evening. Okay, moving ahead to Friday, 30 December, the Arctic air is in place. This looks like it will be the coldest day of this upcoming week, the 30th of December, the end of the week. I know a lot of folks are planning, at that point, we'll be planning New Year's Eve and New Year's Day festivities. We are down less than 522 decameter thickness, and this is fresh model guidance that I'm giving you tonight. So this is very, very recent data that I'm using in producing this long range. We are looking very cold on Friday the 30th. High temperatures will be mainly in the lower 40s, but we could have an issue even making it to 40 degrees. So I wouldn't be shocked if our high was 38 to 39 degrees on Friday the 30th based on those thickness values. And again, look at the orientation of your jet. Whenever you have a northwest from Canada into Southeast Virginia, a northwest to southeast orientation of your strongest winds within this jet stream, and you're sitting basically the long wave trough, the very base of it is situated over Southeast Virginia. That's when you're going to get the coldest air to spill into the area. Now, before I get to New Year's Eve, I wanted to show you the 5,000 foot temperatures. And again, this is mainly for the 29th and the 30th. The 29th is on the left, and the 30th of December is on the right. And this just shows you the advance of the colder air. The coldest air at 5,000 feet is indicated by these purple shading colors here. The coldest air is up here in northwestern Canada, the yellows, oranges, and the deeper reds and maroon colors. Okay, so this is the 29th, and I just wanted to show you where the leading edge of the Arctic air is. It's basically over the upper Midwest, northern Illinois, northern Indiana, into Pennsylvania, and up into New England. That's the leading edge at this point in time. And then look how it advances. The purple shading goes all the way off the east coast of the United States into the Carolinas, in through Southeast Virginia. This is the strongest cold air pool that's up over central Canada at this point. But the wind vectors, the coldest temperatures are spilling from northwest to southeast in conjunction with the orientation of this jet stream right on into Southeast Virginia by the 30th. And again, I expect Friday to be the coldest day of the upcoming week. Now, by New Year's Eve, what we're looking at is a 1,028 millibar high situated over, basically off the coast of North Carolina. This is the Arctic high. It will be modifying and it will be weakening. And it also will be sliding eventually southeast out over the open waters of the Western Atlantic. Clockwise flow around the high, and we're going to start getting some southwesterly warm air advection return winds on the backside of the high, which is going to act to modify our air temperatures. Additionally, look at your orientation of your jet max now, or your jet stream, the main axis of the jet stream. The deepest trough now pivots to the north and east, well off and away from Southeast Virginia at this point. So the coldest air will be funneling from Maine offshore off of New England at this point. That's where the coldest air will be. And then you'll notice that the winds become more zonal west to east across Southeast Virginia. So we're expecting about a 36-hour to 42-hour shot of Arctic air. The Arctic front swings through Southeast Virginia on Thursday evening. The winds shift to the west-northwest, and they get strong, generally 15 to 20 miles per hour. It's going to really advect some much colder air in from colder source regions in Canada. And then that cold will last until about early afternoon on New Year's Eve day. And then this Arctic high will slide offshore. The winds will become more out of the southwest, and we'll get warmer air advection of southwest winds. The orientation of the jet stream, the coldest air then pulls northeast and away from our area. Now, New Year's Day, it is looking like we may have a little bit of rain shower activity in the area. Does not look heavy at this point in time. We do not have any organized areas of low pressure or deep nor'easter type coastal lows. There's nothing there. Just some general scattered rain, light in nature. There is a 1024 millibar high, which is fairly weak, over south central Illinois at that time. And you notice there's a little bit of a jet stream maximum, higher wind speeds within the jet core to the north of Virginia. But at this point in time, we're still looking at a west-southwest to east-northeast wind flow at 30,000 feet over the top of our area here. The forecast valid for 2 January. Now, 2 January on, I'm going to show you what the jet stream looks like with a 300 millibar chart on the left, and then the 850 millibar temperature chart on the right, showing you what the temperatures are at 5,000 feet to indicate where the coldest air and the warmest air is. So by the 2nd of January, we get a deep trough over the western United States again. This is a common theme. There's a big ridge building into the Gulf of Alaska, but a deep trough rotates and pivots all the way into Southern California. The coldest air at this point is in the Intermountain West, Montana, Colorado, and out ahead of this deep trough, here's your axis of the jet stream. You have southerly, southwesterly winds over Southeast Virginia, which is going to warm our temperatures. The southeastern ridge is starting to build up and raise upper level heights. As indicated here, the coldest temperatures again are back over the Intermountain West, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming. Okay, the coldest core of the air is still over central Canada at this time, but you do see some yellows, so 5,000 foot temperatures, 12 to 14 degrees Celsius are trying to blow into the area on warm air advection, basically on the east side of that deep trough where you got some ridging going on. This is going to bump temperatures back into the 50s across Southeast Virginia, a major temperature roller coaster again. By the 3rd of January, look at the orientation of the jet stream now. A very strong upper level ridge, but yet you still have this troughing over the western United States. So this ridge isn't sliding far enough east to really set up a very, very cold pattern. It'll be interesting to see how this all evolves over the coming days. The orientation of this ridge and the orientation of how deep of a trough this is into the western United States. If that slides further east, it will become much colder further east. So we got to keep an eye on that. Here's where the coldest air is going to be over the northern plains states, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, into Nebraska and Kansas. Okay, we have a deep upper level low situated over the Great Lakes area. So the coldest air is going to funnel into the base of this trough. We in Southeast Virginia have more of a west to east zonal flow at this point in time. The 4th of January, the ridge again is building into western Canada, a deep trough into the western United States, a west to southwest jet stream pattern overhead. The coldest air, it's definitely moving east-southeast towards Southeast Virginia. However, the coldest air is remaining over the northern plain states, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Nebraska, into the upper Midwest. The wind vectors are pointing this direction, northwest to southeast. So this is going to be interesting to watch how this pattern unfolds over time, to see where that ridge, where this huge massive ridge sets up. If it's further east, as mentioned, it could indicate much colder temperatures for Southeast Virginia, and the timing could be much different as well. So stay tuned to Spot On Weather for the latest updates. So the long-range final thoughts. We expect an Arctic cold front to move through southeastern Virginia on this Thursday evening, 29 December. We're going to have Arctic cold air moving in on Friday, the 30th of December, and it's going to last into New Year's Eve day into the afternoon hours before modification starts taking place and the Arctic high moves offshore with a southwesterly wind starting to develop on its backside. So with Friday being the coldest day with high temperatures in the lower 40s, we may be hard-pressed to reach 40 that day based on the thickness values I just showed you. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. It'll be very cold on Friday. We are not expecting any winter storms at this point or wintry precipitation. The lows will be in the middle to upper 20s. Then that modifying air mass occurs late on New Year's Eve. As I mentioned, the Arctic high pressure system slides offshore. New Year's Eve right now looks dry with some rain moving in on New Year's Day, but it'll be light in nature, nothing heavy, and it will not be long lasting. It won't last the entire day. Warming temperatures on 2 January with highs rising into the lower 50s on southwest winds again. So a temperature roller coaster continues across the area. Now we do see additional shots of Arctic air on the horizon through middle January. We expect an amplified deep trough developing from the central United States eastward, while a higher amplitude ridge builds over the western United States into western Canada. Now, which will be stronger will be the question we really have to zone in on. The southeastern ridge, so that U.S., basically the ridge off the southeast coast, or the trough over the east. Will that trough deepen and squash that ridge down? That's going to be the main question over the long range. The amplitude and orientation of that jet stream, the polar front jet stream, and the southeastern ridge mean everything. Okay? And then the teleconnections forecast, we took a look at it. The Arctic oscillation is trending neutral to slightly negative. The North Atlantic oscillation also trending neutral to slightly negative, which would indicate a colder pattern across the eastern United States. Now the PNA, the Pacific North American pattern, however, it rises through the first week, end of the first week of January, but it remains still slightly negative, which means a trough remains over the western U.S. However, we are having indications in some of the forecast guidance that we're going to get a stronger upper level ridge to build over the west, which contradicts a negative PNA pattern. That would equate to more of a positive PNA pattern. All right, so we have to keep our eye out on all the developments of these amplifications of the jet stream. The southeastern ridge orientation, is it going to be strong? Is it going to be persistent to keep our temperatures a little bit milder than what we would anticipate? Stay tuned to Spot On Weather for the latest. But again, we do have Arctic air coming in at the end of this week, and more Arctic air appears to be on the horizon from the Mississippi River east in through middle January. So stay tuned to Spot On Weather for the latest. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas out there. I hope you're having a great day today with your family and friends. And just remember, we're Spot On Weather. If we're not spot on, we're not doing it right. Have a great Christmas evening, everyone.